Timmy, what did you think when you held it for the first time?
He didn't really like it a whole lot.
I didn't put it down for like an hour. I sat in the office just holding it. I just couldn't believe it. I feel that, because I'm a buck tracker, right? Like all of us. And every now and again, there'll be a gun that comes down the pipe that just feels like that was made for people like us. And that's exactly how I felt. Like, dude, any buck tracker out there, that's it right there. Like, it's just made for what we do.
Welcome to another episode of Northwoods Whitetails. I'm your host, Travis Williams. Today we're at my house here in Meredith. Very excited. We got Timmy.
Hello.
Say hello. Timmy's here from Woodman Arms, as well as Mark Woodman himself.
Hey.
Thanks for coming, guys. And we got Connor.
Yes, sir.
Connor, how you been?
Pretty good yourself?
You got them picked out yet?
I haven't been in the woods at all.
No?
A few times.
Well, I've been seeing some Facebook stuff, and I almost sent a picture to the team the other day. He's got himself a girlfriend.
So I just heard her say that, and I was waiting until after to do some questioning about that.
Yep.
So let's just do it now.
Yeah, I think now's the appropriate time.
Yeah.
That could be a reason why I haven't been in the woods.
And I got to say, I think a lot of deer are probably going to be very joyous.
We'll see.
Did you get
I'll
a good
try.
one? You found a good one?
I did, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Appreciate it.
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, I haven't been out much. I actually took a hike the other day, and I'm like, I'm going to film this. I'll do a little bit of – I was actually talking about the upcoming hunt stock and the gun, and I deleted it because I literally hiked out this – this was in the National Forest. I hiked out this trail. It's been a spot I've been looking at on Google Earth. It looks good on Google Earth. That's why you got to put boots on the ground. And I walked into the biggest shithole that humanity's ever seen. And I got stuck in it for like a mile and a half and got sick of it, turned around, came out, and didn't really do any scouting because a squirrel couldn't live in there.
Yeah.
And you won't be going back, I'm sure, huh?
Actually, it's a good spot. I was going to send you.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I'll go check it out.
So let's talk guns. We're here today to shoot both the new Woodmans. You brought the 22-inch, and we got the new Northwoods Whitetails edition to shoot. Super excited. Mark, you've already got to shoot it.
Yeah, about 100 times.
What are your initial thoughts?
I love it. I think a lot of people are going to like it.
Yeah. Timmy, what did you think when you held it for the first time?
He didn't really like it a whole lot.
I didn't put it down for like an hour. I sat in the office just holding it. I just couldn't believe it. I feel that, because I'm a buck tracker, right? Like all of us. And every now and again, there'll be a gun that comes down the pipe that just feels like that was made for people like us. And that's exactly how I felt. Like, dude, any buck tracker out there, that's it right there. Like, it's just made for what we do. And I was very, very impressed with it. Like I said, I didn't even go to work for an hour. I just sat there walking around the office with it in my hand. He's sitting there laughing at me the whole time, but I loved it that much. It's unbelievable. I can't wait to shoot it. But yeah, definitely impressed with it.
Timmy and I had a deal that we weren't going to shoot it until we shot it together, and we still haven't shot it. We're going to do a little kind of like a before and after, so we're going to chat about the gun a little bit and just talk like we're doing now, and then we're going to shoot, and then we're going to get back on here and give you guys our true, honest opinions on it. But initially, so I have a 20-inch carbine muzzleloader that I built that I just showed you guys that's smokeless, and when we talked with you guys about doing something for Northwoods gun, Joey and I were like, what about like that 20-inch? So that's kind of how the concept came to be. And one of my biggest concerns, quite honestly, because ballistically, as we talked about, like the barrel length is actually longer than a carbine rifle because it's a muzzleloader. So your barrel, there's no action or receiver or whatever. So ballistically, I mean, what did you get out of it when you shot it up there at Huntsville?
2340 with a 225 grain bullet.
And how does that compare to like a 30-06 carbine? Or
I think
like a Patriot.
I think 30-06s are in the high twos, maybe 2800 but that's with a lighter bullet. Like
my carbine, I want to say, was shooting like 2600. Mine's a 06. Yeah. I don't know if that sounds right.
So up close, this muzzleloader has more energy. The bullet is a lower BC, so further away, it's not going to be as
but like
effective. But
velocity at target, because it's a heavier bullet, is probably greater. Right.
well, energy is.
Energy, I mean, yeah.
Yep.
And to clarify too, those numbers were with N110 smokeless.
That was H40-198, but
Okay.
that would be like equivalent to 120 grains of Blackhorn. But I haven't shot that to see if how much it can burn in Blackhorn. So
We'll
maybe
do that
we'll
today.
do that today. And
Yeah,
find
we'll
out,
shoot.
yeah.
Yeah, today.
But
Cool.
the nice thing is, the smokeless powder, you can go to, faster burning powders, which I brought some here, and we can burn all that for sure.
Cool. Well, we're going to do some burning of powder today, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so back to the, the barrel length. So when one of my biggest concerns, and I think I texted you it, I said, how's it balance? And then the next
Perfect.
picture I got was Mark holding it with one finger.
Balance is perfect.
Yeah.
And that's me, because ballistically, there's no reason not to have a shorter barrel for what we do and how we do it. You have a lighter weight, better swinging in the tight stuff. You get the ballistics, you get the, the velocity and the energy at the target with that heavier bullet. So that was my biggest thing, is with that shorter barrel, how was it going to balance? How was it going to carry? And touching it and holding it, it's...
You know what's odd about it? 20-inch barrel, 22-inch barrel, or 24-inch barrel, they all balance.
Yeah.
Every one of them. It's
Yep.
the weirdest thing. I don't know why it doesn't.
You got like a 2-inch spot there where you can move your finger.
Right.
They all will balance on
But
that
every one of
spot.
them will balance.
Right, and the balance point, to your point, Mark, is at a very good spot.
Yep.
Like, I have a bar, and my only complaint with my 308 bar is, and it's one of those short LL Cody guns. I love the gun. But in order for me to get that, like, sweet spot, it's got to be way forward, and I just, I can't get...
Yeah.
I mean, the two things, to me, that resonate with any of the Woodmans, really, is how it's thin, which I believe you did by design, right? So it carry like a pump. And then the safety mechanism. There's no such thing as a cocking mechanism.
Right.
You see your buck, you snap the safety off and you're on them, just like your pump, and the muscle memory is going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that was by design.
Yeah.
Yep, sure was. I think a lot of people struggle with that. They hunt all season with a pump gun running a crossbolt safety, and then when you got a hammer to cock back, I bet you there's been a few bucks saved from just somebody using something different like that. So that was part of it, like, just
Then
an
you
easy...
think of all the debris that can fall in, those hammer type guns that, snow and ice and sticks.
I didn't even think of that. Yep.
I hear about it a lot with, like an Encore or something, and they can't cock them.
Yeah, so this year when I shot my main buck with my Patriot, which this was the first year, I hunted with it a little bit in Mass when we went out to Mass the year before. That was the first time I'd hunted with it. And it was funny. I'm like, you guys will see the video eventually. I'm like flopping, trying to reload. That wasn't the gun. It was me. But I don't even remember taking the safety off or putting it back on. And that, to me, tells me, like, I can remember I missed a nice buck in the White Mountains with my smokeless, and I can remember flopping around trying to cock that gun.
Yeah.
It's a very distinct memory that I have. So I think that's a big point that a lot of people, like I see people talking on the forums, and there's a lot of chatter, obviously, about the G3. So tell us a little bit about that. What's the difference between the Patriot and now the new G3?
There's only a couple of minor things when you look at it. The buttstock is still the same one. The fore end is slightly different, and we got rid of that sling stud that screwed in, and it's permanently attached now, so you can't, sometimes people would have their slings on there and they would unscrew and fall out, and so we fixed that problem. The receiver is significantly stronger, and I did that for, so we could shoot some more smokeless powder and heavier, higher pressure loads. We added that into the 50 calibers, so now people can shoot some smokeless loads in there as well. We redesigned all the sights, so the peep sight is really nice now. We don't have two different front beads anymore. We have one. It's on a ramp, so you got the whole range there. What else did we do?
Barrel's a little thicker, right?
The barrel, we went from like 1.03 to 1.1 on the barrel, which It did add a few ounces of weight, but we also removed some weight in other places. So overall, I think we added a few ounces to the gun, but you don't. I don't really even notice it. But ultimately, yeah, now the 50 caliber can shoot smokeless powder. So Blackhorn, hard to find or insanely priced. It's a great option for a lot of people.
And then a point you were bringing up to me is when you're shooting the smokeless, because you're using less powder, it's also more economically friendly.
Yeah, you could be using a half or even less, and depending on what the powder is.
Right, because I think you were shooting 57 grains of
Yeah,
the H40
and that's
198.
and that's by weight. But if you were to pour that in a tube, it's almost the same by volume. It's very similar. And yesterday I just saw Graphs is an online retailer where I buy powder, and one of the powders we shoot, Vitavori N120, it's $45 for a pound. So Blackhorn 209 is $90 for a half a pound, and you got twice the powder
in one human kidney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the availability aspect of smokeless.
Yep.
Like me and him deal with all the phone calls, and we get that call all the time. Like, just got that gun, and like, hey, what else can I shoot? Because I can't find any Blackhorn. They just can't get it.
Right.
That's frustrating. So just to be able to get your hands on it when you want it, and to have better ballistics, it's kind of a no-brainer. I like both, though. But
I like both too, and obviously in Massachusetts, the way I read the laws,
you technically can't use smokeless powder in Mass during muzzleloader.
Right. So, I've been shooting the Blackhorn, and with my Patriot, I shoot 225 grains, 100 grains by 225 grain bullet, 100 grains by volume, and that thing's a tack driver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I'd be interested to see, because I want to be able to shoot both. Like my good friend Ryan Bonner that got me into the smokeless thing. One of the big advantages is there's no smoke.
No, not a drop.
And I don't know if the word this makes sense in a gun, but it's like clean.
it's very clean.
When you shoot that thing, there's no smoke. Like
Yep.
I know your guns you don't have to clean, but like a lot of guys are going to clean them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I've never cleaned that TC.
Yeah. No, it is. It's
haven't
super
cleaned
clean.
yours either, but yeah, and that's the other thing that our big plan, both with Northwoods and Woodman, is to, we didn't just come up with an idea, throw it on paper, and say, hey, we're going to build this gun and see if we can sell it. The biggest thing that we want is we want to bring something to the consumer that we believe in. We believe in Woodman. I've been hunting with a Woodman. John worked for you for a long time, one of the team members, and when this started, when we started having conversations, I was like, it has to be Woodman because it's an amazing product. And if we can improve it for what we love to do and how we love to do it, then why not? And then I think the other piece is what we're going to do today and probably continue to do, and that's like the R&D. Let's shoot it. Let's, see what sort of ballistics we're getting. And so when somebody clicks on the website to order this thing, they're not only going to order the gun, they can get all the accessories, the new peep sight, they can get their Picatinny rail. But in addition, we're going to have the load ready for you. We'll be able to tell you, and you call me or Timmy, and they'll say, hey, you're going to be shooting 250 grains and 100 grains by volume of Blackhorn or whatever we're going to shoot for, whatever we come up with for a smokeless load.
Yeah, we usually try to always give people at least a starting point.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what I always try to do. And the problem is every barrel usually is just a little bit different.
Yep.
I can shoot 3 barrels in a row that love 100 grains of Blackhorn with a 250 grain bullet, but then you'll get one that wants 105 grains, And anybody I end up talking to, I just tell them how I do it, and it's just 3-shot groups. So I'll shoot 3 shots with 100 grains, then I'll shoot 3 shots with 105, and one of those you'll just land on a powder, and it'll just all of a sudden like, wow, that's a tack driver, and that's your load for your barrel. But the 100 grains by Blackhorn, it's a pretty typical load. Like you're going to get away with 90 out of 100 barrels are going to like that load. Mm-hmm. So I just get people there, and they could start there. And most of the time, you don't got to leave it, but I usually explain to them that like this is how you find it. And
sure,
yeah, you don't always need like the maximum amount of powder,
right?
It's more being more accurate is more important to me,
right?
At the end of the day, so.
What are you shooting out of yours, Connor?
I'm shooting 120 grains by volume in the tubes and then a 200 grain star tip. Is that right? Yeah.
Probably a 225.
225, yes.
But
that's
we
right.
do have a 200
You
now.
do? Okay.
Yeah.
So
I've
we
had good luck with those.
yeah, those are really good
Mhm.
bullets.
Yep.
We just added 4 new Fury bullets. They're all the same, but the weights are 200, 225, 250, and 275, and they have a black polymer tip, so they would have a better, ballistic coefficient.
I wonder how that'll do, like a 200 out of that, because you're dropping. It's going to increase, but like we were talking
You're
before,
going to drop the weight of the bullet, but you're going to probably increase the velocity.
right? But your energy at the target's going to be like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Be the same.
Yeah.
Would you guys rather have a heavier bullet and less speed, or more speed and lighter
I've
bullet?
always been a fan of fast over heavy, but heavier bullets, I think, shoot more accurate, and especially if you're going to be shooting through brush or anything, or it's windy, heavier bullets are better for that. So.
Yeah.
And let's face it, most of our shots. I mean, I don't want to speak for
But if you're
everybody.
tracking, it's not far.
Most of them are. I mean, honestly, most of them are like 50 yards or less.
Right.
Yeah. So all these bullets work at 50 yards. No questions asked
Right.
there.
And I might be a tick different than him. I like heavier. I'll sacrifice.
I do like heavier.
I'll sacrifice a little bit of speed for the weight. And I'll tell you why. Is me and him have done enough guns together. Anytime I've ever been in any trouble with not being able to get a gun sighted in, when we'll always go up in weight and bullet, and I always seem to be able to get it. So I think they just stabilize better, and I like the energy that comes from heavy. So I'll give up a little feet per second to have something that'll hammer them when you hit.
Right.
So, I think it's a different story when you're stretching out long range.
Yeah.
Now you got a different argument, but for what we do, I don't know. I'm into heavy bullets. I definitely like them heavier.
I like high BC bullets. That's
What is BC?
the ballistic coefficient is just how the bullet flies in the air.
Okay.
So comparing them to like a 30 caliber rifle bullet, muzzleloader bullets are short and fat, so they don't fly anywhere near as good. But you take a 40 caliber muzzleloader, there are some bullets that have BCs like a 300 Win mag bullet, and 1,000 yards that thing will compete with it or actually blow it away.
So they get a lot longer.
They get longer.
So when you go up in weight, your bullets get longer, and those bullets stabilize and just have better BC.
Okay.
So
Isn't the
Makes
338 Lapua the most ballistically coefficient round?
It's probably is. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but Pittman is one of the bullets that probably you would find for a muzzleloader that has the highest BC.
And you're starting to dabble with that long range stuff too, right?
Yeah, and that's more with bolt action rifles, but I do build some for customers, and I don't have anywhere to shoot one 500 yards in a hunting situation unless I was going out west or whatever. But
we shot him at what, 3? What was it?
Yeah, we shot 300.
300, 325, something like that.
Yep.
We shot some 40 cals one day at that. Then down where we live, it was like the only place that we had access to shoot that far. I keep telling him that I'd love to get on the range where I had 600 or 700 yards to try it with our 40 cals,
Yeah.
But just I don't have a place to do it. But
I got a place. My buddy Ryan's buddy Paul has a place. So I think he can shoot 700
yeah.
there. It's like a little valley. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when we did those 40 cals at 300 or 325, you could tell that like we weren't even close to max range on those things. Like, give a finger to try it at 500 because I know it's going to do it no problem. You know. So.
Well, that's like we were talking earlier. I mean, I think even this little carbine is going to be great out to 150, maybe even 200, which, quite honestly, I doubt you're ever going to need. With these little ones. But
well, you guys were shooting it at 150 at Huntstock, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
how was it doing there?
We had a steel deer target, and some of the people were nailing it.
Ting.
Yep.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I saw some videos from Huntstock. I hope that show takes off for them, that New York show.
Yeah, I saw they're going to do it again next year there. So.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Good. Obviously, we're going to have these guns, both of them, at Huntstock. I'm probably going to put a scope on mine between now and then. I think I'm going to put that Tory. I don't know if you've seen his mount where you can actually take the scope right off and you have a peep sight underneath.
No, I told him about the design change. I don't know if they made, any new bases for that or not, but
yeah.
And another thing we did on the G3s is we now have 3 Picatinny rails. One is just a plain rail. Another one is the same as the plain one, but you can put the peep sight in it. so you can use quick detach rings.
Oh, cool.
And we made a short, like 2-inch rail for people that want to use red dots.
Yep.
And you can hold your hand around the gun to carry it, and that rail's not under your hand.
Ooh.
So that's...
Some boys are going to like that, because I know that red dot thing's kind of taken off.
It is, yeah. We just got... So Bushnell was one of the sponsors at Huntstock. They gave us scopes to shoot, and they just sent us a red dot to play around with.
Cool. That'll be fun, yeah. I've toyed around with the idea, maybe throwing one on my bar. I might. I just need more scopes and more, you know.
And another thing that we just designed and just machined the other day is some see-through rings that can go on the rail, and you can see, you know, underneath through to, you know, look at your peep sight.
Yeah, that's a lot of guys love that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw him when I went in. He was like, "Hey, check these out," and I was like, "That's sweet." I get that question a lot. There's a lot of people that want
Always
see-through
ask for
mounts.
those, yeah.
It's been that way for years, so that's going to be a good addition right there. They're pretty sweet too.
Yeah.
Yeah, really sweet.
Yeah, and I think another cool thing that's worth mentioning is the Northwoods gun is, so you can go online, you can order any color. You just pick your stock. And it's serialized, which I think is kind of cool. I appreciate you guys doing that. So it's going to say NWW and then the serial number of the gun, starting at 1 and then ascending on up from there. So
It's on the barrel also.
and the Northwoods is going to be engraved on the barrel. So yeah, super excited to shoot it. You guys want to go shoot it?
Let's do it.
You know, while we're talking about it, why don't we just talk about if somebody does want one of your 20-inch carbines?
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to get that through you guys. So if you want to talk about that real quick,
yeah.
go ahead.
I mean, obviously, you know, reach out to Timmy with any Woodman Arms questions. He's the Woodman Arms guru. I'm just Travis over here. But we are going to be, Northwoods is going to be handling all the orders for the Northwoods Carbine Edition. So at Huntstock, we'll be there. We'll have a couple guns to talk about. We're going to have some cards with some QR codes that'll link right to our website so that people can go on there and order. And the plan is going to be to hyperlink, you know, your website to it. So if people want to order accessories and things like that, they can. But yeah, you'll want to get a hold of one of the team members or myself to actually order the gun or go to our website, northwoodswhitetails.com.
Yep. And then I think we should mention, so Woodman Arms also was doing a carbine when this all came about. So Northwoods Whitetails wanted a carbine, but Woodman Arms had a carbine in the works, and our carbine is going to be a 22-inch barrel.
Yep.
Our standard Patriot has a 24-inch barrel, but our plan was the 22, so we've made that. But if you want the 20-inch carbine, that's going to be the Northwoods gun.
Correct.
So
and listen, everybody listening, you need one of each.
That's right.
I mean,
We have 4
Come on.
different barrels. We've got a 26 also.
Yep.
well, I didn't know that. I got to order one of those.
So that's a cut rifled barrel, so
Yeah.
that's a little more pricey. But
Those are your long-range ones. That's your full bore.
and that's ideally, you're not shooting sabots. You're shooting full bore bullets.
Right.
40 cal, full bore.
40 and
45.
45.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you can do
Yeah.
both.
Yeah.
But
And
that's
we also added a 1 in 22 twist 50 caliber. We did a friend of mine down in Arkansas has done a ton of testing for me over the last 6 months with faster twist 50 calibers and smokeless powder.
So what's the advantage to the faster twist?
Well, as you get longer, heavier bullets, you can stabilize them better with a faster.
And is that because it's spinning faster? Because
Yep.
you're spinning
Yep.
it more, yeah.
Yep.
Ryan and you, man. When I get around you guys, it's like French. Twist and ballistic.
And I always
coefficients.
noticed over the years that a 45 caliber is always generally way more accurate than the 50 calibers, I would say more the 50 calibers are more finicky. And as you go to heavier bullets, they always shoot better. But the 1 in 22, so far, I mean, the thing shoots phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, have you shot one with your?
I've shot a few with the 45, the 24 Patriot.
Yeah.
Shoots good.
Again, I think, and my dad. So I'm going to tell this story real quick because my father doesn't like to spend money. He's that guy. I got to do it for him. So I called Mark one day. I'm like, hey, can I order a gun for my dad? He said, yeah. What do you want? Color, blah blah blah. So I ordered it, and I called my dad. I said, hey, I ordered your gun. Mark said he's got a run coming pretty soon. It'll probably be a month. So he calls me. He's like, hey, it's done. You want to come grab it? I'm like, man, I'm busy. I'll see if my dad will come grab it. So I called my old man. I'm like, hey, Dad, your gun's ready. He's like, oh, geez, you didn't have to do that for me. I'm like, well, I didn't, just for the record. You're paying for the friggin' thing. I just ordered it for you because I knew you wouldn't buy it yourself. What? You know, he was obviously fine. He does well. He's a real estate agent. So he went down and picked it up and calls me like 2 days later. He's like, Travis, I love this thing. I think I'm going to hunt with this. He rifle hunted with it half the year that year because he liked it so much. And I had the same reaction in Massachusetts when I picked that thing up. I'm like, it's just balanced. I can't say enough for how it's balanced. If you walk 8, 10 plus miles a day, all of that matters. It all adds up. And when it's balanced right, you can carry it down by your side. You forget you even have it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I shot my first buck with it this main hunt, which again we'll be showing on Northwoods. So, and I think the safety and the balance are the two biggest things. And you just brought up a really good point with no debris falling down in there. I literally fell in a river last year. We have that content now that'll be on my main video. When I say fell, I mean I fell into a river, like full on in the river, gun soaking wet. In the whole time I'm tracking this buck, I'm going to catch him at 20 yards, and nothing's going to happen, right? Tracked him all day, never ended up catching him. Ended up going the next day in the morning before I went out and shot it, just to be sure. No hesitation, went right off.
So he knows this, but I did this winter. I've heard that story a couple times where people fell in a river and stuff and like, oh, the gun still went off and stuff. So this winter, I was like, I got to try it. So anyways, I threw together a 50 cal over at the shop with a bunch of junk parts and just a beater gun. And I got a great big cooler, and it's big enough for the gun. So anyways, I loaded the cooler up, filled it with water, went over to the pit to shoot, and just wanted to drop this thing in the bottom of this cooler, underwater, submerged, and see how long before it wouldn't fire. So I started out like every 30 seconds. So I loaded it up, put a primer in it, put it down underwater, waited 30 seconds, pulled it out, boom, fires. Did a minute and a half, 2 minutes. So by the time I got to like 7 or 8 minutes, I've shot 25 shots because I'm doing them in every 30 seconds. So I started stretching out. When I was done, I left the gun in the bottom of underneath that water for 15 minutes, pulled it out, it fired right off, and my hands were so cold, and I had shot so many shots that I was like, I can't go anymore. It was cold, you know. And but we made it to 15 minutes, and that thing was completely submerged, just sitting in the water. 15 minutes, pulled it out, fired right off.
That's wild.
That was no tape over
insane.
the barrel, nothing. That was just Blackhorn 209 with I forgot what bullet I was using. It was a Sabated, whatever bullet we have, the 250, 275, one of those. But yeah, 15 minutes.
I'll tell you, it really made me feel good because, you know, when you go hunting in the rain, it's always in the back of your mind with a muzzleloader, especially as hard as we trackers work to get that.
Yeah.
You know, you hunt all year, all this preparation, all this talk, all this shooting, this all goes into one moment.
Yeah.
Right? And if the gun doesn't go off and you're 6 miles deep and you've been tracking the buck for 8 miles, it's disheartening.
Yeah.
And when I, you know, the next day when I pulled it, I was like, man, that's special.
Yeah.
You know? So listen, I have my cold plunge out there. We're going to have you hold on to one. But
yeah.
We're
15 minutes.
We're going to do a win-win. We're going to get you to cold plunge in. All right, let's go shoot some guns, boys.
Let's do it.
Everybody full?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel better.
Good. Well, there's more burgers if you guys want some. We just had a little snack. We shot some guns. We have determined that Connor and I are the best.
Practice.
Oh, no, I thought we did the best.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be hitting the targets.
Yeah. Close.
Tim, you can shoot, huh?
Man.
I've heard rumors before, too, and now it's kind of...
I've done a lot of shooting in my life, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe I'm getting better at it. I definitely don't consider myself like a really good shot, but I don't know. I miss my share, trust me.
He drilled the Pellegrino at about 50 yards offhand with the 20-inch carbine.
Yeah.
With a peep sight.
That gun shoots really well. Like, definitely impressed today with that gun, for sure.
It's a nice little, it's going to carry nice. And, it, you know, ballistically, we just shot it out of the, and what were we getting on average through the Coniograph?
We were 20, high 23, 2400.
Yeah. We played around with some different loads.
Yep. We did some N110 actually works really well.
Yep.
Yeah, and you can use less powder.
Yep, 40 grains by weight.
And that was with a 225 grain.
Yep.
polymer tip Fury bullet.
Yeah.
They'll shoot really well. That was a good load for that gun for sure.
Now, is that something that you guys can stock and sell through the website? Like, could you sell that powder?
Yeah, I just I don't do any shipping though
Yeah.
because of the hazmat.
Yeah, but you could
So-
like go to the store and pick it up.
Yeah, sometimes I have it there.
That'd
Yeah.
be pretty cool because, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I'm pretty simple. And when it comes to all this, it's just a lot of information.
Mm.
And I like the fact that you guys are doing the R&D. You built the gun, you shot the loads. And like you said earlier, Timmy, at least it gets people close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to get everybody at least in a good spot. And if you want to tweak from there or need to tweak, you can. But like out of the box, I try to get people. I'm sure we've all bought guns where you got to go buy a bunch of different bullets and try and just figure it out. And I just try not to make people do that. So yeah. So
Takes the guesswork out. What I was also impressed with was the one gun there. You hadn't shot it at all. You just slapped the scope on and you were what, maybe 2 inches dead center, 2 inches to the right, and shooting one hole, 3-shot group.
I got lucky twice today. I'll take it.
Yeah. No, that was a good time. I appreciate you guys coming for sure. Mark and I are doing the carnivore diet, so we just both devoured it's like a 1 pound steak, I'd say.
Yeah, it was about a 1 pound ribeye.
Yeah.
Not really fair to eat that in front of everyone else.
Yeah.
I know.
Burgers.
I apologize.
Yeah.
But the burgers were grass fed. Those are,
It was good.
good quality burgers.
Yeah, it was good.
I would choose a burger any day over a steak.
Yeah.
You should have said something. I would have traded with you.
Well, I told Travis earlier. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I actually prefer an 80-20, but I've got that reverse searing thing. Like, I just wanted him to try it, see what he thought of it.
it was good.
Yeah. Thanks. It was fun to cook. But, yeah, I enjoy cooking. And this whole carnivore journey's been fun. So anybody listen, Mark's doing it as well. And if you guys have seen him, he's got veins popping out of veins. So he's going to have to go find some body. You can borrow some of mine.
I think I'm 10 months into it.
Yeah. Going good?
40 pounds lighter.
Yeah. I think I'm down. I started at 213 and I'm down to like 188. So whatever that math is.
Nice.
20-something
Pretty
pounds.
good.
Yeah, it's been good. That and the cold plunging, which we're going to get Mark to do next.
I have done it, but I don't like cold water.
Yeah. It's a little unpleasant.
Yeah.
I've heard it's pretty. People said it's very beneficial, though.
You know what I like the best about it is like the mental clarity.
Yeah.
So you guys see the setting here.
Yeah.
I have 10 acres. I live in a log home. I wake up in the morning early, have a black cup of coffee. I go out in my bare feet, walk around the yard a little bit, prep my tub. I got to put a little cold water in it and some ice, and then I sometimes will take a shower first and then get in the tub for like 6 minutes. But it's the mental clarity. Just imagine waking up on a pond with super crystal clear cold water and going swimming for 15 minutes before work. Like, it's more the mental piece for me, and then it just wakes me up and I want to go tackle my day. But
There's a lot of research about that, and it definitely does work.
yeah, so that and the carnivore diet have been my jam. That and doing some hiking. Like to do more.
It's the most effortless way to get in shape and be healthy is eliminate all the crap and just eat meat.
Right. Well, it's a great elimination diet, and I probably plan to add some other fruits and vegetables to my diet over time. But it's been a good, elimination diet. And the biggest thing that I notice is my gut health is like amazing.
Yeah.
No bloat, sometimes you'll eat something, you're like, oh, it just didn't sit well with me.
Mm-hmm.
None of that.
Yeah, it goes away.
And you eat, like I just ate that steak and I don't want to, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just feel satiated, I guess is the word
That's
they use.
what it is. Yeah.
Yep.
But so you were mentioning, back to the guns, you were mentioning that you can shoot different primers through the new G3s.
That was one of the other changes in the G3 was we added the modules to shoot large rifle primers.
Which will help because it won't get stuck in there.
Yeah, and I more did it for the 40 calibers because those things are a beast and they generate higher pressures, and it's definitely way better to use it in there. But it will work in all of them, though.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I was blown away by shooting it. I mean, I don't know what it is, but I feel like the gun feels more solid than my Patriot.
Yeah, it probably is. It's heavier too, actually, by a few ounces. So that makes it feel.
It's 6 pounds, right? The 20 inches, 6 pounds. We made it. Yeah.
And there's less recoil with that N110, wasn't it? Or
yeah, there is less.
Okay.
Yep.
Significantly, I thought.
I became a fan of N110 today.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah, it shot good.
Yeah. Yeah,
Smooth.
that's good stuff right there.
And you could hear it in the
You can hear it. Yeah.
report. It was different. It was more of a pop than. And ballistically, it was as good as the 57 grains of the 4198. So,
It's
like
a
you were saying.
faster burning powder, so it may be beneficial in that shorter barrel.
I think that's personally. I think that's what I'm going to shoot.
Yeah.
I'll play with it. And shoot some. Apparently, I need some practice anyway. As we learned. So, while we're all here, does anybody want to tell a deer hunting story? There's got to be some story that nobody's told that the listeners would like to hear. Did you kill a buck last year, Timmy?
I did.
It
was in Maine at the end with my muzzleloader.
Was it the last day?
It was my last day. I think it was like December 6th, maybe, something like that. But it was my last day that I could go. And it was on a Monday, and I was at home, and I got up the following morning and drove. I got up at like 4 a.m. and just drove north, and took me like 3.5 hours. Got up there at 7:30, and I knew where I wanted to go, and I climbed up in there and cut his track. Day after, it snowed all night. You know how it is, hard finding tracks.
So was this a Monday?
This is a Monday morning.
Okay.
Yep. And climbed up in there. I walked in there 2 miles and finally cut his track. And I just took it. And I knew of that day. It was my last day. That was it. I had to get back to work, and I had to get home with the kids and all the stuff. So I knew I was taking anything. But anyways, I picked up his track, and I followed him probably, I don't even think I followed him for 300 yards, 400 yards. And he was standing right in his bed, and I shot him right there. And he was a nice 10-pointer. Had a really nice rack. It wasn't a real heavy deer. He's definitely wasn't a real big deer anyways, but he was run down, no fat. But it was like 146 pounds, whatever it was. But had a beautiful rack. And
I mean, how do you give up a 10-point?
I'll be honest with you. I always hunt hard anyways, and at that point of the season, I was pumped to get that deer. Like I was. Been a couple of years too since I killed one tracking, and that always feels good, So
Did he have a big track on him?
No, not really.
No?
I knew exactly what he was.
Yeah.
I've done it enough now. I get a pretty good idea of what I'm following, and I knew what it was. I will tell you, his rack was a lot bigger than that. Could have just as easily been a basket rack 6-pointer, but he happened to have a beautiful 10-point rack. It was nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a nice buck. Yep. And it was good to do it with a muzzleloader. I was happy about that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times I don't get to kill one with a muzzleloader, so.
Yeah, I shot mine up there, which that video will be dropping soon, but I shot mine up there. So you shot yours on a Monday. I think I shot mine on a Friday the same week.
Yep. It was the same week John Wright shot his. John shot his like 2 or 3 Thursday.
Yeah, I think he shot his Wednesday or Thursday, and I shot mine Friday.
That's right.
Because Saturday was the last day you could hunt. I shot it the day before. It was December 8th. I shot mine. My wife's birthday.
I got to tell you, like, as the years go and just you learn more, that late season Maine muzzleloader season, a lot of people underestimate that right there. Yeah. That's a fun time to track deer.
Yeah.
There's a lot less people. Those bucks aren't roaming like they are in the middle of November. You have a really good chance of catching them. I feel like you could probably shoot at the things, and you probably could shoot at them all day long if you just stuck with them because they're just not going anywhere.
Right.
And
it was funny because I got on a few, and I thought that they would have slowed down, but there must have been a hot doe in the area where I was. Because there was 2 different, I think. I mean, I'm not 100% certain, but it looked like 2 different nice bucks. And they were still going pretty good.
Yep.
And I think inevitably that's what led me to getting the buck that I got was I think I'm pretty sure he came back to a doe bleat. So I shot at him. He ran off. I got up, got on his track, was tracking him, got into a bunch of other tracks, was sorting them out, kind of got him sorted out, tracked him again, got into more tracks. I'm like, God, it's one of those days. Got into a bunch of other older tracks, and I'm doing a loop on them. And I was kind of tipping my can as I was going. I was going slow because I knew he was right there. I just shot at him. And I think it was like 10 minutes maybe. And I'd kind of hung out and was kind of screwed up. It hadn't really gone anywhere, even though it had been 10 minutes. And I was coming around the corner, and I look up, and he was coming right to me.
Yep.
That 8-pointer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was December 8th up there. I agree with you. I like that time of year. And for me, it's all about the snow.
Yeah.
I want to track. And
it's at least where I I hunt a lot of different areas in Maine, but I have an area that I like, and it's where my roots are, and I like to go to that area. But I keep track of it, and it seems like almost always there is snow there, especially right there at that end of the muzzleloader season in Maine. I honestly can't think of a year where there wasn't snow. It seems like there always is. So
that's one of the biggest reasons I bought my Patriot to begin with, because I was always kind of an anti-muzzleloader guy because I hate how the state does it before rifle.
Yep.
You know, if you're a rifle hunter, you have a attachment. I don't know about. I'm not going to speak for you guys, but I like to hunt with my pump. It's, so I go out here and I shoot one with my muzzleloader the first week of the season. I don't get to take my pump for a walk.
Right.
Unless I go to another state, which I always don't have the opportunity to do. Especially when I was younger, I didn't have the time off that I have now. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the biggest reasons I picked up the Patriot, was because I planned on hunting that late season. I planned some hunts around the muzzleloader season. And quite frankly, like I was saying before, when I fell in the river, you put so much effort in. And with the older school muzzleloaders, and even some muzzleloaders that are still on the market today, I don't want to put that effort in all that scouting and all that, physicality to get back in there and find them, and then have the firearm be the reason I don't shoot it.
Right.
Right. But now with these things, that's pretty much eliminated. I mean, I wouldn't even say pretty much. It is eliminated.
Yep.
With this.
Yeah. I hunt with my muzzleloader all rifle season. I don't touch my rifle anymore. Even if I go somewhere, I just bring my muzzleloader.
The way you two shoot. So Mark nicked it, and he hit it head on. By the way, there was 10 of us also that shot, and we didn't touch it. Brooke did. Brooke came close.
Yeah, Brooke did,
got some movement.
She hit the stand.
She hit the stand. Yeah.
Close enough.
Yep.
But yeah, so like I said, my dad, same thing. He picked that thing up, and he's like, I just soon hunting with this.
Yeah, I think it carries better than my 760.
Mm-hmm. It definitely does.
So too.
Especially that carbine with a peep on it, man. I don't know. I can't wait to put that 1-4 Leopold on there. I think that's going to be the hot ticket.
I know the Patriot definitely balances better than a pump carbine.
Yep.
Because my pump carbine, if you look at it, you'll see it's all worn out, like up on the tubes. And what it is, I'm just trying to find that
forward more.
Well, I'm trying to find the thin area to carry.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, when you do that, it's like back heavy.
That's right.
Yep.
Then the muzzle's always, you know what I mean? So if you look at my gun is actually the rear of the tubes are worn, but then the front of the receiver where the magazine is, that's all worn. And that when you side profile that gun, that's the fattest part of the gun. Like, I don't want to carry that because it doesn't fit well, but I'm trying to find balance.
Yeah.
This gun, the Patriot's what taught me how important balance is. Like, I always just assumed that, like, my pump carbine was the best carrying gun ever. It's actually not. It's actually really not even that good to carry, if you want the truth. Because it's just so out of balance where you want to carry it. But that's what it's Patriot just makes your day easier, just because it's so balanced where you want to carry it, that it just makes it easier.
So now what we got to do is just have Mark design a pump.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes,
I'm going to... One of these days.
Yep.
I think you might be onto something if you could pull that one off. Because and I love the pump. I think it carries, again, I don't have huge hands. And that's what I run into with like a bolt action, even my bar, is I end up having to hold it with my hand curved like this instead of like a suitcase handle, right? Like you'd carry your pump. And over time, you get fatigued. You're holding like this, and you end up switching hands all the time, and you're like cradling it. And
yeah, that gun could weigh 4 pounds, but being bigger right there, the Patriot could be 12 pounds, and it's easier to carry still.
100%.
Yep.
There's something comfortable about getting your thumb up over the top when you're walking.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as you can't do that, you can do it to a Patriot when you put a scope on. You put the right scope, and you eliminate that spot. Now you're cradling it. You have to. That's the only way to carry it because you can't get your thumb over the top. Some of the guys I've seen, they put like that scope you have. You'll see what's going to happen is when you put that on there, it's going to get slid back enough to get your eye relief right, and you're going to open up in front of that, and you'll see up over the top of where you carry, you'll be able to put your thumb. Those are the slickest scopes right there to put on these guns. One of.
Yeah.
To keep, like I said, the benefit of having your thumb over the top of the barrel to carry. You need the scope like you got.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that a Leopold?
That's a Leopold 1-4.
Yeah.
Yeah, or 1.5-4, whatever it is. Yeah.
Those are really sweet on those guns, especially for a buck tracker, because like I said, you can still get your thumb over.
Right.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I got all kinds of new stuff coming this year. I'm excited. I splurged a little. I got a Trijicon for one of my pumps, too. So.
Yep.
I've been wanting one. Mark and I have talked about it for a couple of years, and I just finally one day I pulled the trigger. Got one coming. Mm-hmm. So you had mentioned just reiterating the ordering process. So anybody that's listening, if you want the 20-inch carbine, that is a Northwoods Whitetails edition. It's serialized, and they'll want to reach out to a Northwoods Whitetails team member, myself. Yep. And again, we'll be putting a link on our website. And then you guys still have your carbine, which is the 22-inch version. Yep. And that you go directly through Woodman Arms to order.
Right.
And you can order it in any flavor. And, of course, get all the accessories you guys have.
So I assume it's going to work. Like, you're going to just take orders. You will pass the orders over to me or Mark, and then we know what to build. So I need a Northwoods Whitetails 20-inch carbine with brown laminate. This one's going to need whatever, and we'll just build those guns, get them to you, and you can supply them to your people.
Yep. Basically, when people are ordering, I'm asking them what color they want, left-handed. Do they want it drop shipped? Are they picking up in store?
Yep.
And do you want any accessories?
Right.
You know, do you want a rail? Do you want a peep on it, etc.?
Yep.
So, and obviously now with that new back end of the website, that's going to help a lot because then I can just take the order and punch it right in the back end.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it, guys. This has been fun.
It's been a good day. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for feeding us.
Yeah, you're welcome. Glad you enjoyed that steak.
I came for the steak.
Yeah. I came to shoot that gun. Yeah. That's what I wanted. I'm definitely impressed.
It's a shooter.
I got to tell you, I'm impressed with it.
I did shoot it. Me and John Lamarco loaded those guns 250 times last weekend. So,
yeah, what I heard you saying earlier too, and a guy actually reached out to me through Messenger on the Facebook there, and said that he was ringing the bell at 150 yards in New York, and you were mentioning some guys are picking up shooting at 150 yards. So, I mean, the Carniograph's telling it. It's a longer barrel than the barrel that's on if you're hunting with a Remington 7600 carbine, it's a longer barrel, and you're shooting a bigger bullet at really good velocity. So, you know, I don't think anybody should be afraid of the 20-inch barrel if you like it, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
And if you're a bigger guy and you want a little bit bigger, they got the 22-inch option.
Yep.
And then, of course, we've got the original Patriot, that's awesome carrying gun too. So, and in my opinion, you need one of each.
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, I'm seriously considering getting one of each. Why wouldn't you? It's just money, right? Brooke's going to buy me one.
Thanks, Brooke.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us on another episode of Northwoods Whitetails, and we'll catch you on the next one.
No one can save you. You better